All righty. Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the 10X Business Owners Mastermind Call. My name is John Pyron. I'm your host, and Alan's going to be joining us shortly. He's got an emergency. He's been on all morning. He can't wait to share the story. It's a real-world business problem that just happened this morning, so he's pretty excited to share that. Let me see if I can do something here real quick before we get started. And see if this works. Nope, that's not. Well, could work. Nope. Well, okay. I'm just going to show you don't have to be a pro to do this. All right, welcome everybody to this week's call. Why don't we unmute ourselves real quick and introduce ourselves before we get going. We'll start with you, Mr. Dan, since you were the first one here.
Good morning. My name's Dan Knapp. I'm the owner of Red Hot Media Productions. I have a service called Biz Sites for doing websites. I do video production and animations, and not voiceover.
Welcome to the call. And Brian.
Yeah, I'm Brian Peterson. I'm a senior marketer for a marketing company, pretty much the middleman for other companies that need a boost in promotions and appointment settings and whatnot. And that's about it.
Awesome. And Miss Allison Pyron.
Hi, guys. So I'm going to start working with John and doing his assessments on clients. So assessments actually will kind of validate an employee and if they're a fit for a position, or maybe just to see how they would interact in a team. So that's what I'm doing.
Awesome stuff. Okay, so before we get rocking and rolling, let's kind of go around. We'll start with you, Dan. What is your biggest business challenge right now? And you can unmute yourself.
I can unmute myself. There we go. It's all very technical. I guess my biggest business challenge is trying to figure out how to unmute myself. Right now, I think my biggest business challenge is finding enough bandwidth in the day to get everything I need to get done, because I've got a kind of a short window here of things I need to get a lot of stuff done, and I'm just buried. I can only get up at 4 in the morning so many times.
Okay. So the biggest business challenge is how to get things done, overwhelm, that sort of thing. Is that correct?
That's pretty much it. Just not enough hours in the day, and I think I'm looking to expand my team with some contractors, but in the between now and then, I still have to get things done.
Okay. Fantastic. Brian.
Yes, sir. I think I unmuted there. So yeah, biggest challenge for us right now, I'd say, well, to give a little rundown, we tracked down municipalities throughout California, to share our benefits. Right now, one of our
And you're frozen.
we're also in the state of California on the government level.
Yeah, you froze there for a minute.
We're trying to track down the other individual cities. Oh,
can you hear me? Brian? All right, we'll come back to Brian. Allie, you're muted.
There we go. Sorry about that. So business challenge. I think right now, because we're just starting off, so it's really kind of getting out there and trying to explain to people what TTI is and how it can help in their business hiring and how it can also help just in their everyday relationships with people I mean, we all know business is very much relationship based. And so to really kind of understand what drives an individual, what makes them do what they do, I think once we can get business owners to understand that, I think it would be a huge advantage.
Okay, fantastic. Brian, I'll bring you back on real quick. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead and restate your challenge.
Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, like I said, I don't know where I ended up cutting out, but we're in all sorts of municipalities, city of LA, county of LA, and then state of California. Now we're trying to pursue other venues such as the smaller cities like the city of Walnut or Torrance City. That's our struggle right now, is finding new venues.
Okay, finding new venues then, for hosting events, for finding new customers to go and prospect. What do you mean by finding new venues?
Finding new prospects. So, one of our key ways of getting in or trying to get in is using leverage. So as long as we say, hey, we make our way out to the correctional prison institutes, or we see CHP, or we see the folks at the LAPD stations, we kind of do that, so they kind of have like something in the back of their mind saying, oh, well, the cops think it's okay. Well, why don't we let them out?
Okay, got it. All right. And Jose, you want to introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what your business is? And you'll need to unmute yourself. Okay. All right. So we talked about business overwhelm. How do you coordinate everything? At some point, every small business owner goes through that. They get to the point where they're it's all them, right? They've grown their business. They got it to the point where now they have to do all the work. And okay, oh, by the way, I still got to market. But oh, by the way, I still got to hunt for new prospects. Oh, I got to deliver on the prospects, the clients I already have. Oh, I got to keep maintaining the clients, onboarding the new clients, etc. And then when you're starting out a new business or a new division, like in Allie's case, how do you start? Where do you go from there? How do you, what's the first actions? What's the first steps that you take? And then Brian is what most business owners have. It's like, okay, we have a bunch of clients, so how do we network and get more clients? And so one of the things I titled today's business tip is how to leverage your power base. And then we're going to deal with the other business challenges as well. So what's interesting is over the last 7 days, every single business challenge that everybody has stated, my clients have gone through. So I've got businesses that I coach and consult that are all at all kinds of different levels. And one of my clients yesterday was they had a great, almost doubled in 2020 what they did in 2019. They're on track to double again this year. But the biggest challenge now is, I am one person and there's only so many hours in the day, and how do I prioritize? And so we're going to talk about all of that today, and welcome to my other co-host, Mr. Alan Reeves. Better late than never, sir. I understand that you were on a great business problem. I can't wait to hear more about that. Let me make you a co-host here as well. Boom. Okay. All right, so let's talk about Powerbase. Powerbase, I've had an opportunity to help two different clients. One of them starting out brand new. I cannot wait for this person to announce their new business, because once they go public and make it known that they are actually starting a company, this guy, how do I say this without giving away the farm? Extremely popular in Northern California, probably the number one radio personality in all of Northern California, ready to get syndicated and go national, and he started a new business. So I had the opportunity and the privilege to be his business coach. And so one of the things that we talked about, and this applies to you, Brian, this applies to everybody on this call, Allie, Dan, Alan, it applies to any and all business owners. Whenever you want to grow your business, whenever you face an economic challenge, a downturn, you lose a client, you want to add more clients, whatever the scenario is, new money in a business, new wood always stokes a fire. So if you think about a fire pit or a fireplace, takes a tremendous amount of energy to get the fire going, but as long as you continue to throw a log on here or there, a piece of kindling here or there, that fire will maintain its heat, and it will stay going as long as you keep adding wood to it. The moment you stop adding wood to it, it ultimately burns out. And so one of the things that I've learned over and over and over and over and over and over and over again is always add to your list, always add to your list, always add to your list. It's as simple as that. And the way you do it, the easiest way to do it is with your power base. Now, what is a power base? Power base are people that you know that you have power with, meaning when you pick up the phone and you call them, they know who you are. It could be a friend. It could be a family member. It could be a customer, a past customer, a current prospect, a past prospect, somebody you went to high school with, somebody you went to, in my wife's case, cousins, people that she went to elementary with. Let's see. Here's my friend Ryan. We went to the 4th grade together. I mean, we could be in any part of the country, and I guarantee you she knows somebody probably in that region. And so every one of us has someone in our power base. And, John, I don't really have a big power base. Well, if you actually just whip out your cell phone and you start scrolling through your contacts, I guarantee you will come up with at least 25, probably 50, most likely on average 100 people that you know. Maybe you haven't called them, or maybe you haven't talked to them in 3, 4, 5 years, but you know them. And if you picked up the phone and called them, they would take your call and they would be very happy to hear from you. You can even the person that maybe picked on you and bullied you in high school, they're a potential power base person for you. Power base connections have a couple of things. Number one, they are either a potential prospect for your business, or they are a potential prospect for someone else in your power base, or number three, and most of the time, they are what's called a feeder, somebody that could feed you business. So if you're like me, if you're like Dan, if you're like Allie, if you're like Brian, if you're like Alan, we go after business owners. So the thing is, every single person we know personally, whether it be any one of those people in that list, they know somebody that either works for a business owner or they are a business owner. And all you need to do is be able to understand how to make that call. And so, fortunately for me, I have two of my clients on this call. I have a friend of mine on this call, and I have a family member, my beautiful wife, on this call. And so the cool thing is I can role play all three of these scripts with each one of you, and we'll have it as a recording, not only for yourself, but everybody out there that's going to listen to this recording, watch this video. And so let's talk about, how do you contact a family member as a power-based call. And so, Allie, can you go ahead and unmute yourself? Okay. And let's just say, well, you are my wife, so you just play my wife. How about that? Okay.
We'll try it out.
Yeah, we'll try it out. We'll see how it goes. Okay. So, we're sitting around chatting in the evening or whatever, and pretty much I say, hey, you know what? I really am looking for a couple of more business owners to work with in the month of May. Who do you know in your sphere of influence that could be they're either wanting to start a business, or maybe they own a business, or maybe somebody, one of your friends or relatives that work for somebody. Who do you know?
I know a guy that I went to high school with that is trying to open up a winery. Reopen a winery, I should say. So there's one guy. I know some bar owners.
Let's talk about the winery guy real quick. Why do you think he would be a good prospect for me?
I think it would be a good option for you because he is looking to start something new from the ground up. He doesn't have, even though he is a winemaker from Napa, now he's in the foothills, and so different market, but he still is apprehensive in what he's doing, because before it was already established. Now this is reestablishing a whole name for himself and a new winery and new wine.
And awesome. Would you be willing to call the person up and have a conversation with him about me, and then get me his name and phone number?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And that's it. That's as easy as it gets with an actual family member. I don't have to spend a lot of time. Now, if I haven't talked to the family member in a long time, it might be, a catch-up call, and then get down to the bottom line. But with family members, I'm just straight up with them. I just call them up and say, hey, you know what? I really need your help right now, and here's what I'm looking for. Who do you know? Okay. It's as simple as that. Thank you. Let me unmute Brian. And I've known Brian for a long time, personal friend. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Oh, he's talking to somebody right now. Are you free now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's. So what we're going to do now is we're going to role play. Okay, here's how do you call a friend? Maybe you've talked to the person, maybe you haven't talked to the person. It's been, we've seen each other on these calls, but it's been a while since I've caught up with you. So I'm basically calling you right now, and you're answering the phone.
Okay. Hey, Brian here.
What's up, man? It's John. What's happening?
Hey, what's going on, John? Long time no speak. I'm doing all right. Yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, I was just thinking about you, and I wanted to reach out and see how you're doing. See what you're up to these days, and just kind of catch up. What have you been up to, man?
Oh, well, not much. And believe it or not, I was actually on a 7-month-long furlough last year, but we're kind of up and running again. So I'm back to the grind. I know things were tough for pretty much everyone. How about yourself?
Yeah. Oh, just growing my consulting business, working with businesses, a lot of startups over this last year because of COVID. People wanting to start a business, not knowing what to do, helping them out, and then other business owners that have employees. That's become a big deal because business owners trying to figure out how to manage employees in a remote environment. That's been a fun consulting thing. So with your job and what it is that you're doing, how can I help you out, man? Is there any struggles, challenges, anybody I can refer to you? How can I help you?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think things were a little tough for a while. Thankfully, with the economy supposedly reopening here next month, things should crack open a little more. But
Okay.
what we're actually trying to do is find some new clientele. People that haven't heard of us or were actually interested in us, but we haven't made our way out. So yeah, that's
Okay.
a little bit of a struggle, but
Any specific type of client?
well, yeah, typically we deal with folks that are in any municipalities. So, you're looking at your Caltrans guys, any state employee throughout California. There's individual cities out there as well. That's what we're, trying to go for.
Okay. Have you tried to contact all your existing clients that love you guys and ask them who else do they know in state agencies that you can get a hold of?
One more time.
Have you contacted a bunch of your clients that you personally have a relationship with that know, like, and trust you, and ask them who they know as their counterparts in other agencies?
Yeah, when we first got going, that's how we had the database grow. It all started with one Caltrans yard, and then eventually, you start to get the referrals, and I know someone within the DMV, and then that would grow, and so on and so forth with the departments moving forward.
Okay. So if I knew somebody, if I ran across somebody that works for a state agency, that would be a good referral for you.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely, if they're not a club member already.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, you bet, man. You bet. So I'm just curious, like I said, I'm looking for business, people or individuals looking to start a business. They've always wanted to start a business. They've never, the timing might be better for them, or maybe a company that has a few employees and I like working with those type of people. Out of curiosity, do you know anybody in family, friends, relatives, colleagues, clients, past clients that would be a fit for my products or services?
Yeah, well, you know what? I know a guy that works for the Department of General Services. He kind of works on the Caltrans side of things. What he does for them, he's one of the landscapers. But on the side, he started his own gardening company. So,
Oh, really?
I don't know if that's something he's trying to pursue full time eventually, because I know the state pretty much takes care of him as far as benefits go, retirement, all that good stuff. But that's something I could try to hook you up with him and see what he wants to move forward with.
Yeah. If you would, so here's what I'll do for you then is I will purposely over the next 7 days, because I used to work a lot with state agencies. There's one specific client of mine in Via out of Folsom that they only work with state agencies. And so I'll make a personal phone call to the owners over there and connect them with you, and their network and your network could help you guys both grow. Yeah. And so if you'd be willing to do the same for me, why don't we reconnect? Today is Tuesday. Why don't we reconnect maybe over the weekend?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. And at this point, because we're recording, I'm not going to ask you to answer these questions. But at this point, I would say, hey, man, let me make sure I got your information right. So is your address still this? Great. If not, I'm going to take down the new address. I'm going to say, hey, man, I'm going to send you something. And so after my call, I'm going to purposely send him a thank you card, just as a reminder. And then I'm going to follow up with him, like I said, by the weekend and with a lead for him, and he's going to get me a lead for me. Okay. So that's how I would deal with friends. So thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right. Let's go to Dan. All right.
Yes, sir.
So this is one of the most easiest power calls to make because you're calling an existing client, and you want to do this with with every client. Whether you like them, don't like them, whether they're a past client, current client, whatever, right? So I'm going to pick up the phone. And I'm going to call Dan, and Dan's answering the phone.
Hello, John. How are you doing?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm just living the dream, man. Living the dream.
Awesome. Hey, I was just thinking about you. I wanted to reach out and just catch up with you. How's business going right now?
Business is good. Gonna keep them pretty busy.
Okay.
Things are going to open up this summer, I think, for me, and looking forward to that.
Awesome, man. How can I help you out right now? Is there any challenges from anybody I can refer to you? Any business problems, challenges that maybe somebody in my network can help out with? How can I help?
I'm always trying to keep the pipeline filled, so I'm always looking for that small business that's probably maybe frustrated with their current site, their development, or their current provider. A grand example of that is a client that I had for years and years, but I did video for them back years ago, and they're a fire suppression company, and they reached out here a while back because I've not been doing video for them for a while about the website because it was broken and they haven't been able to get a hold of anyone. And and that's kind of my business model. If it's broken and you can't get anyone to fix it, call this guy. So that's kind of the person I'm looking for, and it's amazing how many you can find out there.
Yeah. So if I know somebody who's a business owner who has not had their website reviewed in a while, and they're open to having a conversation with you about their website and their website strategy, that'd be a great referral for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. And have you reached out to your existing clients and had the same conversation with them?
I have been in the process of doing that, yes. In fact, the client that called me was on my list. I was going to call them. So they
okay.
had me.
Okay, cool deal. So what I'll do then, today is Tuesday, so give me until next Tuesday as I'm going to find you a couple of leads. Okay. I'll make the phone calls for you. I'll do the email introductions, and I'll make sure that you guys connect.
Sounds great.
Okay. So out of curiosity, if you were in a position to refer, since you're a client of mine, if you were in a position to refer me to a friend or colleague, would you refer me?
Oh, absolutely. Will and have.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Let's just say you're talking to the person that you're going to refer me to. What would you say about me to them?
I would tell them that you need somebody that can help you focus, can help you get your objectives clear and your strategies clear so that you can move forward. It's difficult, especially if you're a one-man operation. There's too many irons in the fire and there's too many voices in your head going on that sometimes it's just good to have someone to clear things up for you and then hold you accountable to those actions.
Okay. So out of all those 3 or 4 things, what is the most valuable thing that I bring to the table for you?
For me, I think it's defining, keeping the objectives clear and building that roadmap for growth, because that's when you're a solo entrepreneur, you want to grow it, but you're too busy digging. You want to build the road, but you're too busy filling in the potholes behind you. And doing all the maintenance and doing all the things you have to do. It's harder to get out there and expand. So I think for me, the biggest benefit is the ability to grow the business and expand my customer base.
Awesome. And so, man, I really appreciate that. And you know what? One of the things that I could really use your help on is I'm looking for 2 more clients in the month of May, just like you. Okay. And the reason I'm looking for 2 people just like you is I really enjoy the relationship that we have. And so just out of curiosity, who do you know in family, friends, relatives, clients, past clients, prospects, past prospects, who do you know that would be a good fit for my services?
I've already given you 2 of the 2 I know right off the top of my head.
And I know I'm putting you on the spot, and I get it. Maybe you got to think about it, but if you did know someone, who would that be?
If I did know someone, who would that be?
Who are you thinking about right now that would be a good business owner? That you're just like, man, they would be a good fit.
Actually, somebody I've been meaning to talk to is my cousin, because they have a huge ranch and a huge operation out near Susanville, but they also sell their meat all over the Sacramento and Napa Valley and San Francisco area, and they have a store out in Napa. And I'm meaning to have a conversation with her.
Okay. And what's that well, normally if it was just a private call between Dan and I, at this point, I would be, hey, what's that person's name? What's that person's last name? What's their phone number? What's their email address? Can you do an email intro for me? That's kind of how I would lead that call. And then I'd say, hey, man, thank you so much. I'm going to follow up with you in the next 7 days with a lead for you. And that's how I'm going to make that call to an existing customer. And then I'm going to encourage my customer to do the same thing to their power base. So I'm going to help my customer also expand. So thanks, Dan. I really appreciate this. All right, so let me kind of put a bow tie on and explain the science behind it. When you're making these power-based calls, the most important thing to do is create a system out of it. So I was coaching a guy yesterday that Dan had referred me that has become a new client. He's building a business literally from scratch. So we just created his one-page plan, finalized it yesterday, and one of the strategies I gave him was power-based. And I said, you know what, you're a busy guy. You know, you're very popular, you're busy, I get it. But if you just make a goal to make 5 power-based calls a day, so you got 24 hours to make 5 phone calls, and you don't have to think about it, just go to your phone. When Grant Cardone gave me this strategy last year in March, he said, do not put any time between the time you think about it and the time you pick up that phone. Literally, go to your cell phone, scroll through your contacts, the first person that you recognize, press call, okay? And now you have all 3 of those scripts. So I would go back and listen to this recording, and if you text me your name and your email address to 916-741-0596, that's 916-741-0596, those of you that are on the recording as well, or listening to the recording, I will send you the word-for-word script of this call. And so you go back and you take those scripts and you get them down and role-play them with your friends, role-play them with your spouse or significant other, role-play them over and over and over and over again until they come off the tip of your tongue. I should be able to wake you up at 2 in the morning and hello, and you spit that script, okay? When you get it down to that level, the 5 calls are easy, you know? And it's like Jim Rohn said, you know what? It's proven science that an apple a day will literally keep the doctor away. It will extend your life. And it's so easy to eat an apple a day. He says, but why do most people don't do it? Because it's just as easy not to do it, right? And so one of the things I told this gentleman yesterday, and I've told 2 other brand new clients over this last 2 weeks, is the very first place you start when you're going to start a business of anything. And this applies to everybody on this call. Whenever you're going to launch a new product, a new service, start a new business, you want another client, you go to your power base first. It will be the fastest way. On this call alone right here, I got 3 referrals. And I will follow up with every single one of you, even though we're role playing, okay? I'm going to follow up with every single one of you, and I'm going to get my 3 referrals, okay? And so all I got to do now is I've made personally on this call live, as an example, 3 of my power-based calls today, okay? I've got 2 more to do. And I've got until 10 p.m. tonight, because that's when I'm going to shut down and go to bed, to make those 2 calls. And all I got to do, I don't have to have desperation. I don't have to create a plan. I don't have to sit back and think about it. I can just pick up my phone. I can go to my email. I can go to my social media, and I can find somebody like that to make this call. And so if you really want to grow your business, think about it this way. Make 5 power-based calls a day. Now, I mean make 5 power-based calls a day, not leave 5 voicemails. I'm talking talk to 5 people a day. You may have to make 10 calls to get those 5 people. But if you have a conversation with 5 people a day, 5 times 5 is 25. Times 4.3 weeks a month, that's 112 calls a month. Times 12, that's how many conversations you'll get into. You'll have more referrals than you know what to do with. It works. It works now. It worked 10 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago. It's going to work for the next 50 years. And so this is the easiest, fastest way to grow your network, grow your power base, grow your business. So hope that's been helpful. And I want to get to Alan Reeves. Let me double check chat window here. Ali put the contact info. Actually, it's 916-741-0596, I believe. I will double check while Alan's talking. I think it's 916-741-0596. Yeah, it's 0596. I'm pretty sure. So Alan, what's up, man? I hear you got a big, juicy business problem that you dealt with today, and you just can't wait to share it.
Actually, today was the holdover from yesterday. And it all started yesterday, and it's one of those things where, you know, I've done talks about this. I've done co-speaking engagements with an FBI agent about this kind of thing. People don't believe that it's going to happen to them until it does. And to cut to the chase, yesterday I got a call from a telecommunications company that I have a relationship with. They said that one of their customers freaked out because around 3 p.m, they walked by their front desk computer and somebody was on it, clicking around. And the office manager had the unbelievable presence of mind to record some of this on her phone before she shut the computer down. And over the course of the next 3 hours after I got there, what we discovered was that this multi-million-dollar skincare practice was under an active cyber attack from North Korea. That sounds so melodramatic, but that's exactly what was happening. And now they got far enough to where we've had to lock down their server, their machines. They're like ticking time bombs. This was what's called a ransomware attack. And I won't go into detail on this call on what that's all about. But if we boot those computers and servers up again, they could lose every bit of data that they have. We had interacted and engaged with this practice when they opened up about 2 years ago. And they in fact, they took a picture of my operations director and I to put on their social media pages. And then they went completely ghost. Now, the last kicker here, the last thing that makes this extraordinarily interesting is, yes, they did things on the cheap, and that's why they're here. But the other really big smack in the face to them is they had contracted with an inexpensive IT company when they first started out. That inexpensive IT company left remote access software on their computers, even though they had no operating agreement whatsoever. That particular kind of software was found to be vulnerable to hacks and breaches in late 2019, but it was there. That's what let the bad guys in. They had used an IT provider. They quit using an IT provider because they didn't see the need to spend the money on it. There was software on their network left behind, and it let North Korean bad actors in. And now every bit of data that they have that's not in the cloud is at risk. And we're talking taxes, we're talking patient records, we're talking x-rays, it's across the board. And they are shell-shocked, absolutely shell-shocked. This poor doctor, he's just not used to dealing with adversity. He has a client base in the wealthiest zip code in Tennessee that pays cash. He's not used to dealing with things like this. But wow, it's a real come to Jesus for him. And it was
to show you, it doesn't matter what kind of business you have. People think, you've been around this space long enough. People seem to think it's like, well, it'll never happen to me, right?
That's it.
I mean, I'm a skincare business. I'm a doctor. I'm an auto mechanic. I got nothing that nobody wants, and until they want it, right? So, and so the moral of the story here, right, is you got to have a reputable company, somebody that knows what they're doing, somebody that can respond, which you guys responded quickly, and deal with the problem. But more importantly, you need to have, and I've told this, I can't tell you how many times I've pounded this into business owners' heads. It's like, I don't care who you're using. If you're 10, 15, 20 computer users or more, you're using someone. You have no choice. Okay, there is no choice in the matter. You are using someone. Question is as a business owner, are you an engineer? And the answer is no. And so you really need to have somebody else come in and evaluate your stuff beyond your current IT company. And that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted you on here as a co-host with me, is like, this is the core foundation of every single business, is your technology. I don't care if you're a solo entrepreneur, if you have 20 computers, everything becomes important when your data is captured hostage, and so these people had a third party like yourself come in and evaluate this ahead of time, you could have pointed out a lot of this stuff and possibly prevented it from happening.
I'll tell you something else that he's got to worry about now too. Some of these gangs that are doing this have started getting extremely ruthless, in that if there's a little bit of time that's going by and they're not paying the ransom, these gangs are looking at the patient information that they have, and they're contacting the patients directly, telling them, your doctor so-and-so has been breached and we have your stuff and you need to tell him to pay our bill. I'm not going to say he's scared to death. I'm not going to put words in his mouth or thoughts in his head, but he's very, very, very sideways with this. And we're going to do everything we can for him. But again, at the end of the day, this was all preventable, all of it. And that's what's sad, because he certainly had the resources. And it's not rocket science for a company like ours to come in and do this for you.
Yeah. So, this is kind of a shameless plug for mouse calls, but I restarted my laptop yesterday. Right now I'm on a MacBook, and my wife Allison is on the same program I'm on, the VIP program as well, and she has a PC. But every time I fire up my machine or restart it, one of the things that pops up, it starts backing up my system. Starts immediately backing it up. Okay, and it keeps it backed up. So if something like this were to happen to someone like myself or someone like my wife here, we're solo entrepreneurs, right? We don't have any employees. We are the employees. And somebody did that to my system, everything that you guys do, what would you guys would be able to remotely fix it, right?
Typically, yeah. As long as we're out ahead of it, that's the thing. And a lot of people with Macs think that iCloud is getting everything, and it doesn't. We had a guy who ran for DA one time who had a hard drive failure. He was not on a plan, and he thought iCloud got this particular email that he was running his campaign from, and it doesn't. It doesn't get it all. So you want to be ready for those things. That's why you talk to a professional, and that's why you don't rely on consumer grade solutions like iCloud for your business backup or productivity. That's not business continuity.
Yeah. I thought, and maybe Allie can come on and share this experience, but I think it was like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, she's trying to hop on this particular call with her video camera, and something happened to her machine, a driver or whatever. She couldn't figure it out. And so can you share that real quick? What did you do? There was like I said, press that button right there and initiate a call. And then what happened from there?
Yeah, so I was having issues with my integrated camera on my computer, and so we had to. There was issues with the driver, and so it was uninstalled and then had to be reinstalled, and so yeah, I just hit the button on my computer and was able to send a message saying, "Hey, I'm having issues." And then I was, contacted, and we went through, and it ended up being a simple fix, but yeah, so it was that simple. The service is great.
Yeah. I remember I was in the kitchen. You come in. I go, I thought you were on the call with Mouse Calls, and you go, oh yeah, but they're taking care of it. They're already dialed into my machine. I don't have to be there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. So we went to the store. We came back and everything was fixed. And so that's
definitely a peace of mind.
Yeah. And so definitely, if you're listening to this recording, go to mousecallsonline.com, mousecallsonline.com. I would scream from the rooftops these VIP plans they have for solo entrepreneurs, and if you are a business owner that has a server, and you have a server and multiple computers, then we have a managed service plan. Mouse Calls has a managed service plan for that as well, but I don't endorse IT companies that often anymore. I've owned several of them. But I will tell you flat out, I can sleep very comfortably endorsing Mouse Calls all day long, every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So thanks a lot for sharing, man. Really appreciate it.
You bet.
I want to get to one other business challenge that Mr. Dan brought up, because this is a common challenge that I had 2 clients deal with this last week, and now this is my 3rd client dealing with this, is the prospect, the challenge that we all have from time to time of business overwhelm. And how do you deal with that? Okay. And so Dan, if you want to unmute yourself. So if you're comfortable, because we're on a live call, it's streaming live on YouTube and it's being recorded, and it's going to be evergreen forever. Okay. So, what is kind of give us a little idea of, you shared, okay, business overwhelm, business challenge. You got a lot of success happening. You got a lot of projects going on. And so tell me a little bit more about the challenge.
Well, it's, this has always been a challenge, and I think it's been it's been one of the things that's held me back over the years. When you are the salesperson and you're the developer and you're the bookkeeper and the, invoicer and all that, it's difficult. You gotta, when you're out there trying to get a new deal and you get that new deal, now you have to turn around and do that project. And you don't have time to go out and get that next deal, because if you don't keep the pipeline full, next thing you know, you're idle and you're looking for the next person. So now my pipeline's very full, and I might, I've got, this will sound stupid, but part of my problem is, and I haven't taken a long vacation in several years. And we just scheduled 2, one to Cancun here in the middle of this month and one to Hawaii in September. And suddenly, my wife's like, "Yeah, let's do this because we're empty nesters now. We can go do these things." And all I'm thinking in my head is, crap, that's 20 some days out of the year that I'm suddenly not there. I can do my maintenance and everything, because I built my business around being able to not always have to be here to maintain my customers. But I'm not going to be on the phone looking for that next client during that time. So I don't know. Did I answer the question?
Yeah. And so it's a common challenge that all of us have as business owners. And so what I always revert to is the instructions I've gotten from Roy Vaden in the past, and Steve Nampaton, is like, first thing you got to do is not panic. First thing you got to do is just breathe, calm down, and go, okay, there's only one of me. And there are a lot of things that I think might be hugely important in my business, but are really not important. And so when I look at business owners, when they get to this point, and we all get to this point, we all will always get to this point over and over and over again, is you ask yourself, okay, number one question, do I have enough cash flow to outsource a task? Doesn't mean I got to hire an employee, but do I have flexibility to outsource a task? Okay. And so in order to find that out, you basically need to do a 4-list exercise, which both you and Alan are clients of mine, so you already know what I'm talking about. But for those of you that are not yet a client of mine, keyword yet, got to put that in there. Basically what you do is you take a spreadsheet or a piece of paper and write down everything that you do on one column, and then list out, okay, how many hours a week, how many minutes a week is probably the easiest thing to do. In the next column, how many minutes a week do you spend doing that task? And then the third column is, are you great at that task, and should you do more of that task? And that gets a checkbox. The next column is, you're not great at it. You really shouldn't be doing it. And if you had the money to outsource it, you would do it. And so that becomes a checkbox. And then the next column is, can you delegate it, outsource it, or automate it? And so once you have your master list together, never lose it, because you're going to add to it for the rest of your business life. And it's a way to figure out, okay, what is my next play here? How can maybe you sort the list and you're spending 10 hours a week on email. And this is straight out of the book, Procrastinate on Purpose, by Rory Vaden, Roryvaden. He gave us this one strategy that probably was a big game changer at one point, starting to get to that point again where I'm going to have to do it again, which is I found somebody to just answer and respond to my email. I found that I was spending, this was 2 years ago I did this, and I found I was spending actually 3 years ago, I was spending 16 hours a week dealing with freaking email when I started measuring it. And I'm going, this is stupid. And so I was traveling a lot at the time. And so I got the idea from Roy, is I hired an assistant, paid her $10 an hour. And every morning I said, okay, I'm going to be driving during these 3 time slots today. I'm going to call you. I want you to log into my email. I want you to read me my email. And I'm going to tell you how to respond. And it took about 2 weeks for that person to understand what I considered spam, what I considered a waste of my time. She developed scripts on, how to respond and send auto responses. And my time went from 16 hours a week to 5 hours a week of dealing with email. What I was able to do is repurpose that 11 hours towards expanding more of my company. And so it's just an example there. So the first place you start is you look at, okay, do I have, $200? Do I have an extra $500? All you really need in this day and age is an extra $500 to $1,000 in most cases per month. And you can relieve yourself of about 15 hours a week of stuff you really shouldn't be doing as a small business owner. The biggest challenge for most small business owners is their ego, and getting their ego out of the way, because they think, well, nobody can do it as great as I can, and I know, because I think that way. It's like I don't want to spend the money. Well, Allison's shaking her head. Hey, got verification right here. But it's like my social media right now. The promotion of this call, the processing of this call, the graphics, all the management of this call. I don't do any of it. The only thing I do is I show up here, I press record, and that's it. I don't promote this call. I don't process this call once it's done. I have a person out of Bogota, Colombia, that I pay $12.95 an hour to. And it's the best $130 a week I spend, because I get so much. She is 10 times better at doing that stuff than I am, and gets it done so much quicker. Now, I used to have to do it myself. I used to have to spend 10, 15 hours a week doing all that. Well, Now I don't have to do that. And so I'm able to exponentially grow my business. So that's the first place you start is how can I carve out an extra 500 to $1,000? Don't even need that much, 250, 500 bucks. And I don't care if you're an employee. Like I did this back when I was an employee, right? Because I had a commission-based program, and I'm like, and I couldn't get the employer to hire me an assistant, and so I hired my own damn assistant, And I hired somebody. The first person I hired was somebody to set appointments for me, because I found that if I ran appointments, I could make 10 times the income. And so the very first thing I outsourced was somebody to pick up the phone and call prospects. And there's a crap ton of them out there that will do that, and they don't need to be an employee. And so you make a list of all the things that are keeping you busy, and you go, okay, let me target one thing. Let me target one thing that I'm going to take off my list and outsource it. And you try that. Then you try 2. Then you try 3. Then you try 4. Then you try 5. And what I told Sonia, the lady that is managing this call and all the marketing and all the social media and everything, what did I tell her, Allie? I go, we're not moving on to the next project until this process for the promotion of this call, the processing of this call, the dissemination of all the information, everything that goes from start to finish of this call, we are not moving on to the next project until you, Sonia, have this entire process fully documented from start to finish. So if you disappear off the planet, I can have somebody else just come in and take over. Now, there's a key thing right there. Anytime you outsource anything, anytime you hire somebody to do anything, the very first thing you want to do is get them to master one thing. Once they master the one thing, you make them document it and process it. Once they do that, give them another thing. Then give them a third thing. Then give them a fourth thing. Then give them a fifth thing. And pretty soon, you've got 5 things off your list that they're doing way better than you are, and you have a documented process and system in place. So if that person gets hit by a bus, quits, the rapture happens, whatever. Well, you won't be around, hopefully. But if you happen to be, at least you'll have all your stuff documented. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, my wife's just shaking her head. I can't even believe he went there. Yeah, I did. So anyways, but so for you and your business, there are things within your business that you can probably take off your plate that somebody else could do. And the cool thing is you got a super duper cool business consultant coach dude that once you get your four list exercise done, right? And this is your homework assignment for this week, by the way. We'll discuss this on our call. And we're going to find somebody in my network, your network. We'll find somebody to take something off your list, okay? And so that's one thing. Another thing is just look at your day and go, okay, I only have so many hours in the day. And I'm going to put the big rocks in first. Big rocks, little rocks, sand, water. Go and YouTube that. We're going to put the most important priorities in first. Then we're going to put the next higher priority. So what are those? Well, taking care of yourself is probably the biggest priority. Don't take care of yourself, not going to take care of other people. So take care of yourself first, your family, then your business. And your business is, I got to take care of my existing customers first. I got to take care of prospect appointments that are already set, okay? And then the next thing is I need to set some new appointments, okay? And if I don't have enough prospects to set new appointments with, then I reach out to my power base and I create some new prospects. And if you build your business in that order, friends, barbecues, all the other, sorting the files, organizing your desk, sweeping the floor, all that stuff can wait, okay? But as long as you take all those priorities and you make sure those priorities are taken care of, you never lose sight. And especially as a solo entrepreneur, your pipeline will consistently stay full. Even if you just carve out a half hour a day, the most scariest thing, the only thing that actually scares me in business is when I know right here in my head that I am not adding new wood to my fire. That is the only thing that really makes me nervous. Because I know at any time, Alan Reeves can call me up, Dan Knapp can call me up, any client I have could call me up because I first 3 months is the only commitment they have with me. And then it's month to month. They can fire me, I can fire them. Any of those clients can call me and go, hey, you know what? It's been great working with you, but we're going to part ways. You know? And I know that, and it doesn't matter. I had this happen in 2011. I had people, large companies, multi-million-dollar companies, signed a 3-year managed service agreements. 3-year contractual agreements. Okay. And my business partner decided to take off and take 40% of the business with him. He had planned this for like a couple of months, apparently, because the day he walked in September 20th, 2011 at 5:30 in the evening, to be exact, and plopped his resignation on my desk. Now, he was a business partner. He owned 30% of the company and walked away from it. He didn't care because he had already had it planned. So the very next day I get termination of this contract, termination of this contract, termination of this contract, termination of this contract, 6 contracts. Okay, over $450,000 a year in revenue, terminated. I called my attorney, and he goes, man, let's hop on it. And then I called the first client. Then I called the second client. And then the third client, I figured out what was going on is the third client said the magic word. He goes, well, I know that Justin has taken 5 other clients, and you can't sue all of us. And I called my attorney back and told him exactly what it said. And I figured out this is going to cost me about $250,000 to litigate. I'm like, didn't matter if I had a contract or not, right? And I gotten fat and happy, and my pipeline was empty. Okay. Now, what's interesting is all of a sudden I had 12 to 18 hours a day to work on my business, just like that. So I went from fat and not fat and happy, just happy and satisfied, and I don't need to add any wood to my fire, man. I'm smoking my cigar, sitting at the cigar shop, man, just resting on my laurels. Next thing you know, I'm working 18 hours a day for 9 months to rebuild it. So don't let that be you. Okay? I'm not talking to anybody specifically on this call. It's anybody listening to this call. Never, ever, 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 never stop adding wood to your fire. I don't care how busy you get. Okay? That will be the death of your business. Either you have to do it or you have to outsource it. Okay? So I'm telling you from personal experience, I want to save you a crap ton of stress, headache, dying early from stress. Don't let it happen to you. Like every day, I just added three new pieces of wood to my fire on this call. And I'm going to continue to do that every single day. Join a networking group, join a LaTip group, join a BNI group. But whatever you do, continue to add new people to your list. Whether you contact them or not is irrelevant. But the mental piece that you have, that knowing if anybody if you lose something, if the government changes the rules like they did last year and some businesses couldn't operate, you have enough people to contact to survive. Okay? So Powerbase will always pay off for you there. Okay? So as far as time management is concerned, manage the time proactively now before your time manages you. Okay? So I can't wait to have this conversation with you later this week because I'm excited about your vacation. You're already dressed for it, dude. You got like the Hawaii shirt on. You're already in vacation mode.
There,
right? You got the smile. Look at the smile on your face. You're ready to go, dude. So I'm excited for you. All right. Well, it's been a good call. Anybody else have any comments, final thoughts, anything before we go? And if so, you'll have to unmute yourself. Nope. Okay. All right. Well, go out and make it happen. If you're on YouTube watching this or you're watching the recording, please share this. Make your comments. Would love some feedback. Any topics. We're here every Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. Join us live. Bring your biggest business problem, challenge, or opportunity, and we're going to help you out. So I hope this has been valuable. Go out and make it happen. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.